Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Welcome to the Awakening Women Show. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten, a former counselor with a background in counseling psychology. I'm a mentor for high-achieving, ambitious women with over 13 years in the mental health and empowerment space. I've guided hundreds of women and have influenced over 100,000 through my platforms, podcast, and other courses, programs, and mentorship. I'm also the creator of the Relationship Clarity program, formerly known as End the Cycle, which you will hear me mention a lot of times as we go through the episodes. This program is to help women break free from destructive relationship cycles and come to clarity and power about their next step. This show is for the woman who knows her relationship struggles go deeper than the usual conflict. You know there's something more going on, but you can't quite nail it down or pinpoint what that is. You'll find clarity here, empowerment, truth, and validation. Clarity on whether your relationship can be healed or whether it's time to reclaim your life and move forward. What started as me sharing my own experiences quickly became a movement because the truth is, so many ambitious, successful women are stuck in confusing and draining relationship dynamics while trying to rise in every other area of their life, career, motherhood. This is you, you're not alone, and you don't have to keep living this way. Inside this podcast, you'll hear some of my most downloaded episodes, plus fresh content designed to help you break patterns, reclaim your wholeness, and decide once and for all if this relationship is where you belong. I'm so glad you found this space. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to another edition of the Awakening Women podcast. I'm your host, Leanne. In this episode, we're talking about the very real thing that women have come to me for the last 6 years, is they have been searching for a solution to their relationship problems, but they have been really looking in all the wrong places, the places that don't actually address the root cause issue, like oftentimes therapy. While there's a place for therapy and 12-step programs and trauma work and all the different things that are available to us, when we are in a situation that requires a very specific type of transformation for a very specific type of woman, a success-driven woman, a very successful, high-achieving woman, versus someone that maybe does do okay with therapy and they're not really driven to create more. And I don't mean that as a negative. We're all here for different things. I'm speaking to this because this is who I am, and it's the type of women I attract, are the ones that are like, yes, I am fiery, I am powerful, I know I'm powerful. This is why this relationship is so frustrating to me, because it's the one area of my life that I don't feel very powerful. And I feel like I'm living a double life, like an imposter, because in my work life or my career, I've worked with women that are doctors, engineers, working on Wall Street, authors, various different success levels. They're all ambitious. They all have a calling for something more. And this is why they're like, I don't understand why I can't deal with this relationship situation. Like, I can go to work and be powerful, lead meetings, lead teams, all the things. And then I find myself shrinking and kind of going quiet in my relationship in my home. So there can feel like there's this huge misalignment between who we truly are and what we're living behind closed doors. This actually really impacts women's health. And I really want to speak about this because my passion, ever since I started this podcast, if you were to go back to the very first episode, this podcast is 10 years old, by the way. I've been doing this for 10 years. Now, you want to talk about tenacity and continuing to go during ups and downs and times where I wanted to burn my whole business down, start again, quit, go work at a Starbucks, because sometimes running a business is just a lot. If you're a business owner, you know. But when you are ambitious and you have a calling and you have a purpose and you're a fiery woman that has a real mission and a voice and things you want to share, and this is me, you cannot survive in the day-to-day of things that just really don't light your soul up. And so this podcast, I started it from the lens of holistic. My therapy practice was holistic counseling. the type of coaching I do is holistic based, coaching women on wholeness. And I'm really just bringing it back in as the front and center purpose and mission of the work that I'm doing as I'm moving my work into longer term proximity spaces with me. I'm going to tell you more about that toward the end of this episode, how you can apply. But what I have seen is that there are a certain type of women, the 1% women, that therapy just keeps them in the same loops. And if it's not keeping you in the same loops and you are having massive transformation and you really are changing your life and you're seeing things improve in how you feel, then great, then it's working. But what I have seen and what I have experienced is that for women of our type, it's just not enough. Beyond the first little while talking through things, it's like you just go there and you're venting and not really getting anywhere, where you actually want like direction and you want strategy. Like here's the pathway. This is what you do. You want inspiration. You want activation. You want to be around other women who are also investing in themselves. Maybe you're surrounded by people that think purchasing coaching is like snake oil salesmen, or they think it's a waste of money or it's a scam. When you're around people like that, then you calibrate to their level. So when you join a community where other women have also invested in themselves in a way that's like, I matter and this matters to me, and you're in a room with them doing this work to expand beyond what you're seeing right now, you grow fast. Like women come in indecision about their relationships, and within a month they're out, they're gone. Some women take longer, yes, but that's not really the goal of what I want for women that come into my space. The goal is evolving as the whole woman, where you are able to make decisions in all areas of your life from wholeness, from self-sourced power, not from what a man wants or what a man's doing or what a man thinks. In your relationships, you're stepping into your womanhood and really learning what it means to be a powerful feminine woman, when most women in their high achieving personas are very much masculinized. The feminist movement masculinized women. I really believe that. And a big part of my healing and my relationship desires come from, I want a man that can hold his own and lead and make plans and be structured and strategic and make, create that containment so that I can be in my flow and my creativity and relaxed and in my softness after a lifetime of hardening myself. I got to a place where I realized many, many years ago, I had this revelation in my kitchen that I'm so tired of feeling like I need to get stronger to tolerate this bullshit. I had that real voice that came in like, why I'm trying so hard to be so tough, and I'm done trying to be tough. That doesn't mean we're not strong. We are. But the point is, we don't want to be putting ourselves in environments where we have to toughen up and wear armor. You're in the wrong place if that's what you're doing. And so I just want to talk about how understanding the narcissistic dynamics. Yes, that's like ground zero, or like step one. Yes, you need to be aware, okay, this is happening, but women tend to just go into these addictive downward spirals, Google binging, trying to find that one thing that clicks and makes sense. But that will never happen, because the answer to it actually lies within you. And so if you're trying to figure out, is he this, is he that? That's the addiction. That's the problem, because you already know. Right? Women know. They know because they're smart, but they just their logic is talking them out of what their body and soul and their intuition really knows. And a lot of times when we've experienced a lot of relationship chaos and life trauma, we actually can't rely on our intuition. That used to be so frustrating to me. Like, listen to the spiritual teachers that are like, intuition. Well, you can't really rely on that all the time when you don't even know what that is. Like, you think your anxiety and fears are your intuition screaming at you, right? Or you don't know what to trust. And so what you really can trust is your body and what your body is telling you. The real mission, that I am fully stepping into as a mentor who's been doing this work with women and clients for 13 years now, going into year 14, is evolving as the whole woman. I'm really anchoring into my roots, my passions, and I'll be talking about all of those pieces and why it matters. Because if a woman is in her wholeness, she's not going to tolerate a man or anything that pulls her out of that requires her to abandon that. And so the deeper work is always, where do I still need to evolve? And this is done in truth telling, pattern interruption. It's embodiment as the whole woman. It's emotional resonance and identity activation and all of these pieces of psychology and stepping into your womanhood. I want to talk more about polarity and women really owning their womanhood. I used to identify as, I'm a feminist, but if you notice, a lot of feminist women really do hate on men. They do a lot of times because they've experienced negative things, which makes sense. But I myself want to call in women who want to heal so that they no longer are making men the enemy, but they're just so solid within themselves that they just know, well, there's certain men that are just not going to get access to me because I protect myself and I protect what I have nurtured and healed. Now I protect that, and I want a man that protects that as well, that I don't have to protect myself from. So when we're doing it from wholeness, it's coming from a whole different space. It's no longer, I need you. It's, well, us having a life together could actually complement what I already have going on, and it could complement what you already have going on, which you've already got your shit together. I've got my shit handled, and then we decide from there, right? Or we at least have a plan how we're going to walk this together as equals, but also in our rightful dominant energies of masculine and feminine, because the law of polarity says that we need to have two opposites. And just like two of the same magnets don't magnetize together, that's the same as when a relationship is neutralized, when both people are both respectively in their masculine and feminine. And when a man or woman wants to be cherished and respected both, they are in narcissism, because a woman wants to be cherished and protected, and a man wants to be respected, and a woman feels respected when she is cherished. And when women don't feel cherished, they're not going to respect a man. And so there's just nothing is aligning there, right? So going off on a tangent, but this is really a passion of mine, and I love teaching about this. So inside of the Reclaimed Woman 12-month immersion that I am opening up for application this month, I will put the link in the show notes. It's by application only because I want to make sure that the right women are coming in that want to really evolve into this work over the next year with me. But I want to bring in this necessity of polarity so that when women are getting back into dating after leaving, that they do it from this new energy. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing when you've been spending your whole life in that self-protection to learn how to come at dating and relationships in your feminine softness and getting, taking that guard down. That took me years. And it's an ongoing process because we're always going to have that part of ourselves that wants to self-protect. Understanding the narcissistic dynamics is not enough. It's not the goal, because you've already done all of that. I really think that, yes, it might be validating. And some women will tell me, well, it just kind of keeps me in reality. It keeps me in reality when I start to slip out of that. Or they've said, I wish I had you in my ear when I'm in those moments of doubt. That's the reason why I created the broadcasts that I have in Telegram, because I wanted to create a space where women could come and plug into activations where I'm talking about things that will shift them like that in the moment when they need it. One woman just had an experience where she was feeling pulled back to her relationship that she left, but she listened to one audio that I dropped for another woman that asked the question, and it shifted her and kept her on the path to not going back. Because you're so vulnerable in that period of time when you first leave, in that first few months. You need to have the right kind of mentorship and support around you. I tell you, I've coached so many women off ledges of going back into the pattern over and over. And that's never up to me. That's up to them, right? I can say, here's what you need to do. And, here's what you shouldn't do. But the woman choosing or choosing not to in those moments where no one's watching, that's fully her. I don't take ownership for that. I know that I have skills and I have gifts and I have my zone of genius that I have mastered in being able to help women see patterns where they get stuck. But the work that women do on their own behind closed doors and their own when they're by themselves, that's fully them. And it takes a lot. It really does. In those moments when you're sitting there and you feel compelled to go back to the chaos because sitting in it, just sitting in what you feel just feels so uncomfortable. You're like, well, I want that hit of craziness. It sounds bad, but it's true. It's like your body has just been completely programmed for that cortisol bathing all of the time. And learning how to regulate yourself back into balance is a journey. It takes intentional work. It takes reprogramming. And so it's really important to understand that his behavior, what he's doing, his inconsistency, his avoidance or manipulation, and all of the stuff that you have been focusing on, that is 100% on him. You are 100% responsible for you. So what I see women doing is mothering and the hero role, the helping, enabling, rescuing, and overfunctioning. They are always in his business trying to change him. And what I say is that when you start dating again, if you leave this and you're dating after divorce, pick a man that you can survive and not get sick or crazy from his faults, because they're all going to have faults. We have faults. They have faults. So we need to go at it from, I need to find out what his are as quickly as possible and then decide if I can accept them. Not if I can change them. Oh, I can change that in him. Oh, I'll nag that out of him. Right? Oh, I'll mother that out of him and overachieve that out of him. So no, we're not doing that anymore. And so it does matter to name what happened and to see the truth. Yes, it does. But at some point, if your healing is still entirely organized around understanding him, then your healing is still revolving around that relationship. And I have women do a complete 180 and really hone in their focus on what serves them and what they need to do. Because this is part of the codependency piece, is the outward focus. We are constantly attuned to the other person to decide how we're going to feel. This also shows up with kids. If you have it in your intimate relationship, you probably have it on some level with your kids or adult kids, where you might have some codependency around that. So we have to, as whole women, we own our own tendencies to hinge our well-being on other people. And being whole means I don't do that anymore. I focus on being that lighthouse of wholeness, and I'm settled within myself. No matter what's going on around me, this doesn't mean life is perfect, but I'm always doing what I need to do to pour into myself. So the deeper work is becoming the woman who no longer abandons herself in love ever again. And this is the woman who can discern without going into that dreaded downward spiral. And she can hold her standards without hardening and wearing and suiting up her armor, right? And as high achieving women, we think I can just do it alone. I should just be able to do this alone. I should do this on my own. Well, how's that working for you, right? Many times we just haven't been given a space where we can really get that support and that sisterhood and that being held up in a sense by another powerful woman that sees your potential. Instead of you seeing a man's potential, see your own potential. I see your potential. And having someone see you in that highest level version while you're taking action, and you've got that feeling of someone being behind you as you're taking action, it's very powerful. And this is why I have a track record that I do of women changing and shifting radically within a short period of time, because it's the energy that I hold for that group. It's the work. We're not getting into the what's he doing, what's he not doing. We're not getting into talking about it. We are being about it. We're being about the transformation. And that is what we are going to be doing inside of the Reclaim Woman. It's all about evolving as the whole woman in every area of life. This is why it's a year long, because we're not just there to work on men. We're working on ourselves, on our purpose, on relationships with men and how we show up and why we show up, on emotional self-containment, and looking at changes we might want to make in career and purpose and all of that. That's the type of work that women do when they come in. But I've never had a longer term container that is for the fully committed woman. And I am excited because this is the true journey that I want to go on with a group of women who want to do this work. This isn't about a quick fix. It's like, this is an investment in your future over your next 10 years. And the dividends that you will reap from this they'll go on forever, because when you understand how to do this, it doesn't matter what challenge you're facing in your life. When you're making decisions and choices from the self-containment, from the self-sourced power, from your wholeness, you're no longer choosing things that cause you to abandon yourself. So we're learning how to lead ourselves in a new way. And then we're only accepting things into our lives that enhance it. Like, we're no longer settling for bullshit. Like, honestly, even if it comes from family and you realized I can't really have close contact with certain family or friends, because it's not necessarily that something earth-shattering happened, but it's just this knowing inside that every time I have a conversation with that person, I feel cut back down again or knocked down a few pegs. And yeah, sure, there is I need to make sure I'm tough enough to not allow that. But there's also a thing about, like, some people just aren't meant to be part of your evolution, and you shouldn't be sharing your big aspirations and goals and visions with them. So a woman who fully trusts herself, like, when you really learn what that means, what does it mean to trust yourself? As women, we have desires. We want things because we want them. We want to feel a certain way. We want certain ways of being treated in a relationship. We don't need to explain why we want what we want. Women are led by desire. And so when you can trust that desire and not need to explain it or rationalize it and just say, I want this. I actually want this. I want this experience. And I want you to think about that in every area of your life. What desires do you have? What do you not want anymore? A woman who doesn't need to feel chaos, to think, oh, this is chemistry, this is love, this is passion, this is meant to be because we have such a strong connection or bond, is free. Because as soon as you see that happening in a relationship and you can pinpoint and go, oh, I know the patterns within me enough that I don't have to worry about ending up in something bad again, because I'll know what that is in my body. That is self-trust. When you learn discernment, that is power, and you're choosing from feeling fully integrated within yourself, not from emotional addiction, not from your attachment wounds or your ex wounds or anything like that. You can start choosing things on a different level, whatever that is. And so if you're ready for this work and this is landing for you, if you can feel that there is that deeper layer of work here for you that you are feeling called toward, and you don't want to just keep taking in more information and even therapy, if therapy is really expanding you, great. I support that. But if you're finding you're just going through the motions because you think that's what you need to do, but it's not actually moving the needle forward. It's not lighting you up. It's not igniting your fire. Like, you're a fiery woman. And I know for me, when my fire goes out, that's a big, huge warning sign. This is something I've learned because I have a fire. And when it's gone out, it's because I've let the bullshit around me snuff it out. And so if that's you and you have lost that spark and you've lost that sense of who you are and you want to come back to yourself, then this is where we are going to be doing this work over the next year inside of the inner circle. This is all about self-reclamation and evolving as the whole woman. That is the whole intent. Whether you're in a relationship or not right now, you've just left one, you're in limbo, you're considering dating, this is very important because you need to learn what your patterns are so that you don't repeat them again. And when the goal is wholeness, then that's where we're all going toward, no matter where we are. And it's a supportive space so that wherever you are on the journey, you can hop in and learn from other women who are ahead of you. The women that are ahead of you can offer some wisdom. This is what I want to create, is this healing, sacred space for women to do this work together. Women who value themselves enough to invest in themselves, to put skin in the game, to put cash down on their transformation, who understand the value of having the right kind of mentorship and having women around them that are also doing that kind of work. That's who I want in this space. So it's for you if you're ready to stop cycling in the same pain dynamics and you want support that is intimate, that's deep and honest and very transformational in a very short period of time. If you join for a year with me, you will not recognize any part of your life by the end of it. That is my guarantee. Everything that is on your heart is going to come to fruition as long as you line it up and take the right action. There is other components, obviously, to life, like karma and different things that can happen, but you're a much better chance of getting what it is you truly desire if you have that level of support behind you that's like cheering you on. Like, I think you're thinking too small. What do you, I think you should really expand this. That's who you need to be around, not somebody that's like, oh, why on earth would you do that? Why don't you play it safe? So if you are that type of woman and you like to have that growth edge where it's like, let's go, then that is who I would love to invite into my space. And so I really just want to leave you with this. Your healing does not have to stay centered around your wounding and your trauma and everything you've been through. Listen, I get it. But at some point we have to put that down and we have to just choose to step into the next chapter. We have to fully step into it. And we can work with those things. We can integrate the things. We don't need to sit and talk about it for another hour or 2 or 3 or 4 or days and weeks or months where you're still talking about the same thing and you're like, I feel like I've had this same conversation for 10 years and nothing has changed. You're done with that, then get yourself into the application and apply. This will change everything. You can click the link in the show notes to apply. And if you're wanting to just start with something, if you're new to me and you want something to get a real taste of the kind of work that I do, I will also place the link to a couple of other resources here. That's really important because I don't want to have women coming in that aren't fully committed to me saying, hey, here's where you're blocking yourself. Here's where you're lying to yourself. Here's where you're limiting yourself. And for me to actually coach you, you have to be coachable. And that means you have to be willing to see some parts of yourself that you haven't been willing to see, like your own shadow self. If we aren't able to see, oh, I have actually that trait. I actually do that. And sometimes you need someone on the outside to call you out on your bullshit so you can shift it. Yeah, shift your shit. That's what I love to do. I absolutely love to give women that direct, like no sugarcoating from love. It's coming from love because I want you to have a breakthrough. I want you to change. I want you to no longer feel like tied down by these patterns anymore, to really expand into more. And in order to do that, I need to tell you the truth that maybe others haven't seen or have not been willing to bring out. And so if you are easily offended by being called out or having your patterns pointed out to you, then definitely that probably isn't for you. You have to be willing to tell yourself the truth. All right, so that wraps up this episode, and I will chat with you in the next one. Bye for now.